Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this Dell Studio 1558. So this is having a problem charging. We're going to try replacing the charge port and see if that helps. So first you're going to want to do is remove the battery. So just slide this over to the right and then you can pull the battery out. This is an aftermarket battery and it's kind of having some issues. Anyways, we're going to want to remove all the screws from the bottom. So you do want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shapes, and lengths. We are using a PH or JIS1 screwdriver. So let's remove all these screws. Alright, so one here. Let's see if there's any hiding. Don't forget this screw down here. Okay. And screw over here. You want to keep the screws in order. I like to put them on my desk in the layout that I remove them. So whatever pattern you see that you're removing them, just put them in that same pattern on your desk, and that way you can easily figure out where the screw came from. Alright. Just like that. Alright, let's remove this bottom cover. So just undo these screws here. Okay, just like that. Once you remove those 3 screws, you can lift up here, go around to the side here, and then you can kind of pull this up. This one gets kind of stuck, so it's a little tricky, but I pulled this up like that and then pull it back like that, and here you can see the clips come out, and then you can lift this out just like that. Alright, so here you got a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. You can upgrade this to an SSD if you want, and then we got the RAM here. Just pull these tabs to the sides. And then you got this 4 gigs DDR3 PC3 12800. I'm pretty sure this RAM was upgraded, so if you're checking yours, you want to check what type of RAM your computer's using, because there's a good chance it's not the same. Alright, so get the RAM back in. We are going to take out the wireless antennas. So to remove the wireless antennas, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see. Alright, I don't like this material they made this thing out of. It's like sticky. But anyways, get underneath the antennas like this and then just pull it straight up. Just like that. Comes out. Same thing with the white antenna. If you can, get under there. Alright. If you can't, you can use like a tool, preferably plastic, not metal, but if you know what you're doing, you'll be okay. Just lift it up just like that. Alright. And then just make sure to guide these wires out of the way. Alright, I'm pretty sure someone worked on this before, so keep that in mind if you're working on yours and it looks different. That's why. There's the CMOS or the BIOS battery here. If you want to remove that, you just get a tool, push it over to the side, okay? And then once you push it over to the side, you can lift it out. I'm going to leave it in there, but that's how you would do it. You can see how it moves like that, okay? Alright, the wireless card comes out. There's just one screw. It pops up like the RAM and you can pull it out. I'm going to leave that in there because I don't need to remove that. We're going to remove the hard drive. There's 4 screws holding it in place, so let's remove those 4 screws. Again, keep the screws in order. They are different size, shapes, and lengths. You don't want to get them all mixed up. Okay. Alright, so these 4 screws are holding the hard drive in place. If you want to upgrade it to an SSD, I have a video showing how you would clone the hard drive, or you can just install Windows, like a new clean install of Windows. Alright, once you remove those screws, I like to use the little things here to kind of pull this back. You can also use the screwdriver that fits in the screw hole, and then you can use that to pull it if you can't get it this way. So sometimes it'll be difficult, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'll take a T8 screwdriver. You can use anything that's just round, similar size. Put it through the screw hole like that, and then you can use that as a handle to pull it. If it's stuck, oops, go on the other side and then do the same thing. Use that to pull it, and there you go. So you can see it's been sitting there so long that the hard drive actually was stuck there. Right, once you pull it back, you can take this out. If you're gonna upgrade to a different type of hard drive or SSD, make sure you transfer this bracket over. I'm just gonna tighten these screws because they felt a little bit loose. Okay. And then I'm gonna set that aside. Alright. So now we're gonna remove the screws that are underneath. This screw, you can, oops, let me zoom out. Okay. This screw down here, it's a little covered. You can leave that. We're going to remove the screws in here, but again, I'm going to follow the pattern. So removed all of these, and I'm going to go over to here. zoom out more. Alright, just to make it easier to follow, I'm gonna go in rows so I can tell where the screws came from. So there's another screw here. We're gonna remove that one. Okay, and then we got 4 screws going along down here, so we'll remove those 4. Okay. There's one here. Okay, and one more here. Alright, so we got all 4 of those screws out. I think now we need to go ahead and remove the screws from the other side. If you have USB stuff connected, just unplug those. Alright, so we're going to flip the computer over. I'm going to slowly open the screen. Okay, and then if I remember correctly, we're going to have to remove this piece. Let's see, I've worked on some of these before, so I'll have to see. Every model's slightly different, so let's see if the keyboard will pop up or not. I think this is supposed to pop up. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm using this thin metal pry tool. You can use a plastic one if you have one. That works, but that's what I use. Alright, once you get part of this up, you should be able to kind of work this. I like to push it towards the center as I pull it up, and usually that will help remove the clips. Alright, so we got that side out. Let's see if we go around to the side here. The sides are still kind of stuck. I forgot how this comes out. I've worked on some of these before. I might have to still pry this up. No? Okay, let me see. I'm gonna see if there's any screws I forgot. Don't see anything. If I remember correctly, there aren't any screws holding that piece in place. It's just, it has to just pop out. I don't remember if this side of it pops up as well, or if I had to just pop out this black plastic part. Let's see here. Yeah, I forgot how this pops up. But, oh, there we go. Okay, it helps to use the pry tool to push the clip as you kind of lift it. Let's see if after popping that one, if I can use that to push this while I pull on it. Come on, unclip, please. Wow, these clips are really strong. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I was right. This whole black piece comes up, or the whole speaker grill comes up with it. So I guess you just have to use more force. Okay, I'm pulling it towards the center as I kind of lift it. Okay. But it is tough to pull up. There we go. You do have to use a bit of force. Okay, here you can see it's coming up. There we go. Alright, so we're getting this out. There we go. You might have to kind of wiggle this. I'm pulling it backwards that way as I kind of lift it to undo the clips. Okay, just like that, and there we go. So here you can see we got this piece out. There's one screw here that's from the back that's holding it in place, it looks like. But there's that piece. We got it out. Let me see if I have the toothbrush here. I'm going to brush off the dust from this thing. Just because we can, since we already have it open, might as well. Alright. Alright. Got the dust off. Let's set that aside. Alright, so now the keyboard is held in with some screws here. So we're going to remove these 2 screws. Again, the tricky thing is making sure you keep all these screws in order because they are different size, shapes, and lengths, and you don't want to get them all mixed up. Alright, so we got 2 screws here holding the keyboard down. Once you remove those 2 screws, and if you're wondering if you can replace the keyboard without removing all the screws, yes you can. You just need to remove that one screw that was holding that piece down. And then to remove that, as you can see, I kind of moved it over to the side a bit. And when you pull it, if you like flex it a little, it also releases those clips. Then you lift it up slightly, move the bottom out, and then it's hard to do this because I'm recording. Normally I would have my head over the top, but then you wouldn't be able to see. So what you do is there's these clips here. Let me zoom in so you can see better. So these latches, you need to flip this up just like that, and then you can pull this cable out, as you can see. To put it back, you just get it lined back up. Make sure the wings go behind those plastic pieces, and then you would latch that back down. But anyways, flip that up. Same thing with this one, flip that up as well, and then pull that connector out. There's some tape kind of in the way, but just flip it up and then pull it out. Okay, that's how you remove those. Let's zoom back out. That's how we remove the keyboard. You'll want to check your keyboard model number, but they do have like these model numbers here. Okay, I'm going to set that aside as well. Alright, so now we're going to have to remove all the screws under here as well. You want to flip this up and disconnect this. I believe this is the trackpad connector. Let me move this stuff so I can see what I'm recording. Alright, and then once you flip that latch up, if you can, grab the blue tab and then you can pull this out. Alright, you got this connector for the speakers. We're going to remove that as well. Usually I'll use my fingernails and kind of just wiggle at these wings here. Oh, this is broken. I didn't even pull on it and it's already coming out. That's weird. So somebody worked on this already and actually damaged that connector. I barely even touched it and it just broke. Normally you would wiggle this side to side as you pull it back. But since you can see it's like broken, let me use a smaller screwdriver bit to make it a little bit easier. Use like a T5. So I'm gonna try and wiggle this as I pull it. So here, as you can see, it wiggles. So I'm just wiggling this side to side as I kind of pull it back. And usually if you keep wiggling it, eventually the connector will pop out as you're like pulling on it. So let me get this cable out to make it easier. Alright, unthread it from there, just like that. Alright, and then now let's try if I can keep wiggling this and pulling it to get it out. Okay, as you can see, I'm just wiggling it and it slowly slides out just like that. Okay, just like that. And there we go, we got this connector out, but this plastic piece is broken, so you want to be careful with that. Alright, somebody tried to, I guess they just tried yanking it out and that's how they broke that. Alright, then there's the connector here. One thing I forgot to mention, if you're going to remove this is the LCD LVDS connector. After removing the battery and all power sources, you do want to press and hold the power button for about 10 to 15 seconds. Because when you remove this cable, there's a good chance you can damage the computer if you don't drain the power. Okay, so I'm going to do that now, since we're going to be removing that connector. Alright, so now that we've drained the power, you can remove these connectors. So this one, same thing, just wiggle it and you can see it easily pops out. Then you got this connector, this is the LCD LVDS connector. Let me zoom in a little bit. But basically just grab that and then just pull it straight up. There we go. And then we're going to have to unthread this from the wire route mounts or whatever they're called. Okay, just like this. And then we're going to remove this connector as well. Same thing, you just grab it and you just wiggle it. So I use my fingernail and then this, and here you can see you just get in the wing and then you just kind of wiggle it back and forth like this, and it will slowly wiggle itself out just like that. Alright, just like that. And then we have to unthread these wires as well. Let me try and keep this in view so you can see. Alright, you want to be careful when unthreading these because you can damage these wires, so I kind of have to wiggle it as I kind of pull it up to try and get it to unroute from there. Okay, just like that. Okay, you want to be careful because if you damage these cables then you won't be able to turn on. I think this is for the power button itself. Alright, and then we got the wireless antenna cables here. Got the gray one. You can use like little tweezers for this. I just use my fingernails. Alright. And then what we're going to do, I'm flipping this up so I can actually push the cable through. So these wires, I'm going to like put them down flat and then I'm going to push them through the holes here and pull them through the other side. Okay. I don't know what they wrap this thing with, but it's kind of in the way. Alright. I might just take this wrapping stuff off. It's like, I guess it's electrical tape or something. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I got that through. And then we're gonna push, oops, sorry, hopefully you can see. We're gonna push this one through as well. Alright, be careful that you don't accidentally rip the connectors off. You have to slowly guide these wires through. Make sure to get them to go without damaging them. Okay. Just like that. Alright, so we got that cable out. Alright, same thing. Unroute it so that we can take this thing out. Just like this. Alright, so we got that out. We got these wires out. Okay. Now we're going to remove all the screws from the top. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see better. Okay, switch back to the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. And then we're going to remove all the screws up here. Let's see here. We got... Sorry if my head gets in the way. I'm trying to see what I'm working on. This is a hinge screw. I don't think I need to remove that if I remember correctly. So we're going to remove this screw up here. Okay, they did label it with like a screw size there or something. So we're going to pick that. I'm going to take this screw out. Alright, we're going to take these 2 screws out. Actually, 3 screws out here. Okay, remove all 3 of these screws. Alright, so there's 3 screws really close together right here. Then we got those 2 screws out. Alright, then we got 1 screw here in the center-ish, kind of, a little lower. And then let's get these 1, 2, 3. 3 more screws. So let's remove these 3 last screws. Alright. Just like that, and hopefully that's all the screws. Let's see. There is the speaker wire going under here. I don't remember if we had to remove that. I haven't worked on this model in so long. I think this whole panel will come up with the speaker. So again, make sure that you have this stuff unthreaded because it is going to, the whole panel with the speakers will come up. Right, let's zoom out some more. I think I need to move the hard drive out of the way. Oops. Put the hard drive and the battery out of the way. Okay, so now that we got all of those screws out, we are going to separate this panel. So here, I just use my fingernails. You can use pry tools or whatever. And then get underneath and pop this panel apart, okay? I like to use my fingernails to pull it as I kind of push with my palm or your thumb. Okay, and here you can see it's, or I guess it's kind of blocking your view, but you can see it pops up pretty easily. Okay, same thing, go around here. Now it's kind of the opposite way, but here you can see I can pop this out easily. Go ahead on this side as well. Pop this up. Alright, just like that. Okay, now that we got everything unclipped, we should hopefully be able to lift this up. Oh, it's a little bit stuck here as well. So you want to be careful lifting this side. Okay, just lift it and wiggle it. It might be stuck somewhere. Oh, there's 1 screw hidden up here that I didn't remove. We're going to have to remove that as well. Okay. Yeah, the hardest part is kind of remembering where all these screws came from. Alright, let's lift it up now. Did I miss another screw somewhere? Oh, there's 1 more screw all the way up here. Make sure to remove that as well. It's kind of a weird screw, random screw. Let's see if I can fit it. Okay. Alright, so now let's see. Okay, so now here you can see the whole panel is coming up. Alright. I hate this build. They made it so difficult. Here you can see the trackpad connector underneath with the buttons and the speaker thing as well. I'm gonna clean that. It's a little bit dusty here. Okay. Alright, so we got all of that out. So now we're going to go ahead and see if we can replace this. It looks like it's trapped underneath the CD drive here. So let's see. Is the CD drive just held in with this one screw? Let's try and remove it. Let's remove this one screw here. So many screws on this. Okay, so once we remove that one screw, you can see I'm lifting the CD drive up. I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to kind of pull it out just like that. And here we go. We got the CD drive out, optical drive. All right, so now we can see the charge port here. There's also a USB port here. I just need to replace this, and hopefully that will solve the issue. Here's the replacement one. Let's see, where's the screw mount? Okay, so the screw mount is in the back here. So we're going to remove that one screw there. All right. Take that one screw out. And we're going to lift this up. I'm going to remove the USB one as well, just because it's in the way. So I'll remove the USB port screw as well. Okay. So now let's lift this USB port out if we can. Let's see, okay, lift it up from the screw side first, and then you can pull that out of the way. Here you can see there's this little metal bracket, or I don't know if you can, but let me zoom in. Okay, here you can see there's this metal bracket on the USB thing keeping it down. So remove that. Then we got the charge port here. We're gonna just unthread it here. Okay. Hopefully this is the issue. If not, I'm doing all this work for nothing. But here we go. And then you just grab this connector, wiggle it as you pull it, and there we go. Here you can see the metal pins on this connector are facing up, so you don't want to plug in the replacement one upside down. All right, we'll grab the replacement here. Make sure you plug it in right side up. Okay, and then same thing, kind of wiggle it as you push it in slightly, and there we go. Okay, we're gonna get this connector. Now we're just going to thread it back underneath how it was with the other one. Okay. I don't remember exactly how it was routed, so you can actually use the old cable to see where it goes, and then you can see that it's supposed to go down here. Okay. Then it takes a sudden hard turn around here and just goes that way. Okay. So just like this, get that in place. All right. Hopefully everything is okay. Let's put this screw back in there. All right. So before, what happens when we plugged in the charge port, the light will go on and then it goes off. All right, we're gonna put this little metal tab back underneath, so twist it like this. It goes underneath that plastic piece, and then it sits back down. Okay, come on, isn't it going in there? So it needs to go under that slot there. It's not going as far as it should. Come on, going all the way. There we go. All right. And get that screw back in. Sorry, I know my hand's in the way. Okay, so we're gonna set this one aside. That's the old one. Then we put the CD drive back in at an angle like this. Let me zoom out again. Right, at an angle, make sure the slot lines up. Push that in, let it drop in place. Get the screw, put that back in. Alright, so if you want, I'm not going to take apart everything else, but here you can see the fan is here. It's underneath the motherboard, so to remove the fan you actually have to take the whole thing completely apart. And it's kind of dirty, so let me brush this up a little bit. It's not too bad, and I'll use this to kind of blow the dust out. Okay, so got that. Alright, so now we're going to have to put the cover back on. You can see all these connectors for the, hopefully you can see it. Let me zoom out more. You can see all these connectors for these. These are just pull connectors. These ones have the little latches, but if you need to replace that card reader for some reason, then this board, everything else seems like it's attached to the board. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put this cover back on. Make sure all these wires are up and out of the way, as well as these wires as well. Okay, get that back underneath. Okay. And just make sure all these cables are up and out of the way. Alright, and then clip this stuff back in place. Alright, make sure you get everything clipped back down. CD drive might stick out, make sure you get it lined up so it's flush properly. Okay. Alright, now we're going to put back the screws. Alright, so I'm going to put the 3 screws that are close together right here. Okay. One. And there was this one here. Okay. And there's this one here. Okay. The one that was up here. Okay, then we got 1, 2, okay. Got the one right here. Got the other one right up here. Again, these screws are all different size, shapes, and lengths, so hopefully you were able to keep them in order. Right, and then there was the one up in this little corner hole there. Right, then we got this one in the center down here. Then we got the 3 going across the bottom. We got this one here. This one down here. And the last one right here. Okay. I'm going to reattach the trackpad cable. So you want to hold this latch up and then get this blue part of the connector in, right? And then push that latch back down. Okay, I'm going to reconnect the speaker cable here. Guide it through that piece again. Pull it back, let it go through, and push that into place. Alright, we got all these connectors here. So this one goes behind over here. Make sure you follow the cable management routing here that they have. Alright, I think it goes over this way now. Yep. Okay. Try to keep it in the cable management routing. Alright. There we go. I'm going to route this one. And we're going to reconnect this. Okay, we'll plug this cable in and then kind of just make sure it goes in. Okay, oh, that plugged in really easily. Alright, get this one, make sure it's lined up. Let's see here, this is kind of a weird connector. Alright, then push it down, make sure it's good. Alright, just like that. If you want, you can make sure also it goes under there. Alright, that looks good. Now we're going to get this wireless antenna that's not connected to anything, so technically it's not important. This one you can even just cut it, it's not doing anything. Alright, get that wire underneath these two pieces here, the plastic protrusions. Okay. And then we're going to plug this cable in. This is the power button connector here. So if your power button isn't working, you'll have to replace this. Okay, get that going through here. Alright, get this cable through. Alright, that's all routed in. Now we're going to get the wireless antennas. Okay, just thread it through. It doesn't really matter which one is on top or below. At least I don't think. Alright, let's thread this through. This might be difficult to thread through if you leave it like bent like that, so you might have to straighten these ends a little bit. And then you can try and guide them through. Make sure to get that cable out of the way. Okay, just like that. You're going to have to go from the other side and make sure to help pull it through as you feed it through the top. Okay, just like that. Okay, and make sure to guide this again. Alright, we can plug this cable back in, the power button connector, just like that. Oh, it does have also a little plastic piece to kind of route that wire. Alright, I'm going to close this. I'm going to guide these wires over first. Just make it follow the paths that they were going in before. Actually, this is like switched if I remember. No, okay, we'll just leave it like that. Okay. That, and route this wire through over the top, and this will actually hold that in place. Okay. Then wireless antennas to reconnect them. Okay, just line it up. We'll do the white one first because it's kind of trapped. Alright, so get that in. You want to make sure it's completely lined up. The way you can tell is when you have it over properly. If you try and move it around, it stays in place, and then just push it down. Okay, get the other one. There we go, and then push it down just like that. Alright, now we got all the wireless antennas in. Let's flip it back over. Okay, zoom back out. Alright, so next we're going to put the keyboard in. Alright, actually let me zoom in to make this a little bit easier for you guys to see. Alright, backlight cable. It might help to have someone help hold the keyboard up because it's going to be hard to hold that latch, but let's see if we can do this. Alright, get that cable in. Might have to push the latch back even more. I don't know why they put that tape there to make it extra difficult, because this latch does need to stay all the way back. Oh, there's like a hair in there or something. Okay. Get that cable in. Alright, push that latch down. Same thing with the keyboard connector. Get it in. Push the latch down. Alright, let's zoom back out. Alright, so now you want to get these little feet of the keyboard into these slots. Just like that, and then slowly drop it in. It helps to lift up the middle here so that you can push these side pieces underneath the clips. Just like that, and then you can let that down. Okay, we'll put back the two screws for the keyboard here. I don't think, was there a cable connected here? I don't see any missing cables, so I don't know. I think that was just a random connector. I don't know why that's there. Did they label it? Yeah, I don't remember removing a connector there, so I'm not sure what that's for. I think some models of these will have like some lights or something here. Right, so we'll put this backside in first. Here you can see these clips, so you do want to try and get those clips to go in the slots in the back. Okay. And then we'll get this, clip these all down. Alright. Go. We can close this up, check the back, make sure to clip these in place as well. Alright, clip that in. Get all of that clipped in. There we go. Now we're going to flip this back to the bottom. And then we're going to put back all these screws. So get this. Alright. We'll get this screw down here. Get this screw up here. Oops. Get this screw down here. Alright. Get this screw right here. Get the screw right here. This screw over here. Okay, grab the 4 screws that go across the bottom. Right. Oh, sorry, it's getting in the way. Okay, and we'll take the hard drive and we'll put that back in. You have to start it over here and then slide it over. Put back those 4 screws. Just like this. Okay, got all those screws in. I'm going to clean this because it is a little dusty. Okay. You must have cleaned this computer up because for the age of it, it wasn't too bad. Right, we're going to put this USB back in here. I'm going to get this. Slide that bottom piece back in first, push these clips back down, and then tighten these 3 screws back in. Just like that. Alright, then we'll put back the battery. This battery is an aftermarket one, so it doesn't fit 100% properly, so I have to kind of like help force it in slightly. Alright, but normally you would just slide the battery in and it should lock, so it's being kind of a pain. I'm going to help push it down. There we go. Alright, now let's plug it in and see if there's a change. So before the light, when I plug it in here, it would just light up for a little bit and then it would turn off. So here the light. I actually can't see because it's too bright. Is this still plugged in? Oh, I'm plugging in the wrong one. That one's not plugged in. Alright, so plug this in. Hopefully you can see. Oh, my thumb's in the way. Okay, it lit up. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, it turned back off still. So I don't know what's causing that, but it lights up and then it goes back off. So It's not a charge port issue. But anyways, hopefully this video helped you guys if your charge port is actually broken. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget, like and subscribe, help others find my videos. And yeah, bye.